This is a story that happened to Natalie, who moved into an old third-floor walk-up. It was the kind of place that you might have even thought was cute if you didn't pay attention to the cracked tiles or suspiciously low rent. Natalie had just gone through a really rough breakup and she needed a reset. So when the landlord said that the place had been sitting vacant for a while, she signed the lease that day. From the very beginning, things were just off. Not totally wrong, but just a series of small weird things that seemed very persistent. The hallway lights flickered even after they were replaced, her door wouldn't latch, and her radiator hissed in these strange breath-like bursts. She laughed it off at first, but then came the draft. It started in the corner of her living room between two built-in bookshelves. No matter how much she sealed the windows shut or stuffed towels beneath the sills, the cold kept creeping in. Sharp, steady, and focused. When she asked the landlord, he brushed it off. Old building, he says, adds to the charm. But charm didn't explain that feeling that someone was watching her, or the way the bathroom mirror fogged up like someone had just showered when she hadn't turned on the water all day. She began locking her bedroom door at night. Then one morning, she found a Polaroid slid under her front door. No note, just a picture of her apartment door taken from outside. That was when everything changed. She called the police and they couldn't find any fingerprints or signs of forced entry, and they just told her, get cameras. She began locking her bedroom door at night. She installed 2 cameras, one in her living room and one in the hallway. The next morning she checked the footage and the hallway camera showed that at 2:46 a.m. her bedroom door creaked open. Something moved. Not a person, but like a blur, light bending in a weird way. The living room camera showed nothing visible, but the temperature dropped 6 degrees in 30 seconds. The apartment felt wrong, like it was holding its breath. Natalie filed for an immediate lease transfer and started packing that same day. But while boxing up the books, she felt the draft again. Stronger now, as if the wall itself was breathing. She pressed her palm to the wall and knocked. It sounded hollow. Not like drywall, but like a chamber waiting to be opened. A seam revealed itself, just barely visible between the bookshelves. No latch, no knob, just a faint outline. At around 4 a.m., her phone buzzed. The text said, sorry for the inconvenience, but someone will stop by later today to take care of the repairs. The man arrived just after noon. Reflective vest, clipboard, he didn't knock twice, he just let himself in. He crouched down where the draft had been strongest and tapped the floor. This part doesn't match the blueprints, he muttered. It's not supposed to be hollow. He left and returned with a crowbar and a flashlight. Underneath was a room, concrete, small, and windowless. A cot, a desk, a chair, a camera on a tripod pointed straight up, right where her coffee table used to sit. Natalie didn't go to work. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She stayed home with every mirror covered and every light on. She couldn't explain why the mirrors bothered her so much. Only that every time she caught a glimpse of her reflection, it felt like something else was watching from behind her eyes. That evening, another slip of paper was shoved under the door. No handwriting, just a crude sketch of her apartment with an X listed over the bedroom. That corner had always been cold. She blamed poor insulation, but now, standing with her ear pressed to the wall, she could hear it, breathing. Heart racing, she backed away and called the police. They came within 10 minutes. She waited outside while the 2 officers went in. From the curb, she watched the windows, hoping to see lights flicker, shadows shift, but nothing moved. The officers returned. No one was in the wall, the officers insisted. Just insulation. But Natalie knew what she'd heard. They offered to stay a few minutes longer, but she declined. She didn't feel safe with them, but she didn't feel safe with anyone or anywhere. She paced in tight circles, whispering to herself. Maybe it was trauma, anxiety, a breakdown. But the silence inside the apartment had changed. It wasn't just silence, it was waiting. The apartment felt heavier with every breath. Even with all the lights on, the corners stayed dark, like they were bending inward. She wanted to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. Sudden knock echoed behind her, not from the front door, but from within the apartment, behind the wall. Natalie stepped towards the wall again. The seam was still there, faint, but real. It hadn't disappeared like the others. It was waiting. She pressed her palm to the wall one last time. It felt warm. Then it pulsed, like something on the other side of the wall had just placed its hand against hers. Like something on the other side of the wall had placed its hand against hers. She didn't run, she didn't scream, she just whispered, "I know you're in there." And from within the wall, something knocked back. She left that night. She didn't pack her things, she just turned her back and walked out. The apartment stayed dark behind her, but she knew that someone was watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for part 2.